Good morning and welcome to another Mocha Money Monday. I'm Ashley Scott and I am here with Kyra Solomon, the founding partner and the CEO of the Daily Real Estate Group. I'm really excited to talk about acquisitions today and talk about scaling up with Miss Solomon. She's a boss. She's a right stakeholder. She's someone that I also just find to be just a really sweet, amazing, just bright, brilliant soul. So I'm excited to get into this conversation today and to really just talk about all things real estate, all things acquisitions and acquiring this business and just how to really get to the bag, because that's what Mocha Money Monday is all about. And there's different strategies that we all can take when we're growing and building our business. And I'm really excited because Miss Solomon has so much good foundational wisdom from her own experience that she can share. So tell them a little bit about some of the nuggets that I can't share, Kyra. Go ahead and tell the audience who you are and why they should be excited to hear your story today.
Well, thank you. First off, just thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for having this platform to allow people like myself to come on and just share a little bit of maybe what we know. So as Ms. Scott said, my name is Kyra Solomon. I am the founder and the principal for the Daily Real Estate Group. We are a family-owned, full-service real estate firm serving our great state of Georgia. And our offerings are in sales, property management, and development. And I think we mentioned a little bit about construction in particular. So I'll just kind of start from there and we'll just kind of see where this thing goes. So in 2021, I actually had some partners and we had kind of set out on a venture to buy and sell businesses. And, the one came across the desk and it looked like it was an interesting find. It was a construction company. So, we decided to embark on that path. Now, I would caution anybody who's going into M&A, mergers and acquisitions, to make sure that you really understand your partners and your partner's capabilities. Okay, understand your own capabilities, because certain industries might seem the same, but they really aren't. So, that acquisition has taken me on many ups and downs, but all in all, I'm the last and only remaining partner in place. And it has taken me to a place where I truly, truly understand the importance of construction. It is not real estate. Construction is its own thing. It is its own beast, its own entity, its own industry. And it's not to be confused with, the transactional decision of buying a home. It's so different. So with that said, I was able to scale up. I was able to, have some assets roll over to our balance sheet. I was able to, acquire just so many more partnerships. And when I say partnerships, meaning with independent contractors to come in and help service properties, help build. We've built, convenience stores from the ground up. We've built, for an international refrigeration company. So that's just on the construction side. Now, on the real estate side, we've taken those same, let's say, principles, if you will, and applied it to facilities maintenance, which that is its own industry, if you will. And we've been able to kind of help out our owners in terms of just whether it's a rehab of a house or whether we're looking at, for instance, a commercial plaza, which we're dealing with, whether it's land, we're able to take that skill set and apply it to those owners. And each one is its own unique set of skills. So the Daily Group has a ton of experience, let's just say.
Yes. So let's start from the beginning of the story. When did you realize, I know you said, okay, we were deciding to start looking at mergers and acquisitions with my partners, right. And yes. You have to have the right partners. If you were going to give somebody like 3 tips for who's the right partner, right, Kyra, what would you say to someone who's like, I need to know like how to choose the right partner? Because I tell people that all the time. When I do my speaking engagements, when I talk about what I've learned in my lessons, having the right partners is like the slam key to success or not making it to the end when you hit those bumps in the road, right? So I would love for you to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, I don't know if there's a right science or if there's a right, there's always that right fit. I need people, one, that are loyal. That's the first thing. I need people that have been tested and are like, listen, we're going to do this from the beginning to the end. And the only really way that you're going to know if somebody can do that is if they've been through the fire already, if they've experienced some things. It may not be in that industry, but they may have a skill set close enough where they'll say, hey, we'll get a somebody in who really has that particular skill set, right? So if let's just say, okay, you're in real estate, you've been selling houses for how many umpteen years, now you want to start a restaurant. Completely different industry. You know nothing about, how much the cost of the goods, the commissary, all of that goes into it. Find somebody who's been in that business and pay them, but your partner might be your money person, and say, hey, you know what? You're going to be the front person. I'm going to be the silent partner. I promise you I'll be silent, and we'll come together. We make those decisions together at the end. But you really have to, you got to pray about that thing, because your partner is going to be somebody, it's going to be your husband or your wife. You're going to be talking to them and making decisions, and they may not be easy decisions. Somebody has to be able to make it, and you might not always be on the same page. Like one of my partners was like, oh, we need to file bankruptcy. I was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I will ride this thing until the wheels fall off before I absolutely do that. And that's what, I ended up doing and bringing it back up. So you really have to have somebody who's really strong in character,
Yes,
That's
I
my
think those are
suggestion.
some really good tips. No, thank you for that, Ms. Solomon. So I want to talk about the lessons that you learned in acquisitions, right? Because you don't know what you're gonna get. Like when you're talking about buying a business, it always has everything that looks good on paper up front. Obvious, want the deal to go through. So how do you look for the things that you don't know what to look for sometimes, right? So like, did you have other consultants? How did you know that the deal was truly a good deal when you started looking up under the hood of that thing?
So one of my partners, his wife, she's in hedge funds. And so she's constantly reviewing the different financials, P&Ls, all of that sort of thing. And to be honest, she said it's not a good deal. She was like, don't do it. And we were so headstrong that we were like, oh, we're going to do it anyway. Right. Bad move. When you have bad move in hindsight, right? But at the same time, you push through the fire. But when you have people on your team that are seasoned, you have to listen to them. And and then you also have to make sure that you understand why they're saying no. It's not just a no, but why are we saying no? Okay, well, if we look at the last 3 years of their P&Ls, if we look at the last 3 years of their taxes, if we look at underneath the hood, right, and start talking to the actual staff, right, just, casual conversation, what have you, you're going to find out some things. You're going to realize that, oh, they're selling because the GM doesn't know what the hell they're doing, and they can't lead. Oh, they're not successful. So many finite components to the thing that if the right equation is not there, yeah, people want to sell. You can go and scoop it, regardless if somebody says no. If you know what you're doing in business, you can go and scoop it. You might put somebody in place for management. You might put and then now you have a viable company. So just because somebody says no doesn't mean that it's a no for you.
I think that's great advice, right? Because we do trust our consultants, our coaches, the people who are seasoned professionals, but you got to trust your gut, right? I think at the end of the day, your instincts, there's a reason you have them. When the Holy Spirit, if you're a spiritual person, says move, you got to move, because you might have that Midas touch, and you need to be able to carry that thing through to the end, because you don't know what it might become. So that is great advice. Now, Kyra, let me ask you this. When you are thinking about your business and how you plan on growing and scaling, what's next for you? Like, makes your business feel like, okay, I'm doing it, I'm successful? Like, what's going to make you feel like, okay, like you've already moved to the point where you said you're no longer worried about bankruptcy with that business that you acquired, but how do you know that you're in a healthy place for growth?
That's a very good position. That's a very good question. So I think, if you have a solid um, understanding of your financials, right? You have a solid team in place that's consistent. I've adopted this new motto for 2024, and it's just like everything's got to be sick. If it's not sick, it's not working. And sick for me is spelled CIK, right? Consistency is key. If you're not consistent with it, it's not gonna have enough roots to generate. It's not gonna have enough roots to grow. So for me, I've been in business since 2015. That's the first thing. So I've passed a certain level in terms of just consistency. We rolled in the construction. That, a couple of years of just trying to get settled with that. And now we're at a place where we feel like, okay, we've got a good team. We've got a good legal team. We've got, good financial consultants, meaning CPA, bookkeeper, all of those requisites are in place. We're looking at different bidding opportunities that are now available to us. We have insurance that we can actually say, okay, well, we have this amount of insurance we know we can handle. When you really have a thorough understanding as to what your business can handle, it's just like a child. You're not going to put your child in high school when there should be, they don't miss all the foundational pieces, elementary and junior high. So we know that we're, moving towards junior high school, if you will. You know what I mean? It's gradually, matter of fact, probably we're in 8th grade, heading to high school. And I'm putting it in that context because some people want to get into business and they want to automatically be in grad school. And it's like, you missed all of this. And so hence now you're burning relationships. Now you're stumbling and you're faltering because you missed all of the foundational pieces that you really could have acquired had you been at maybe the Russell Center or another accelerator, Goldman Sachs, that could have given you those key nuggets to be able to be successful. So for us, we're looking at the collaborations. For us, we're looking at the amount of our deals, the valuation for them. And we know that we're heading in the right direction.
So let me ask you this. What's a good deal for you when you start thinking about, okay, I'm looking for, the next best deal, the next best opportunity for my company? What does that look like for you?
That's a good question as well. I think for us, the next best deal could be a combination. It could be government. It could be private. Which we're all working on right now, but we are working on right now. And something that's consistent, right? That'll take us maybe through a 5-year period. And if I could kind of give a little bit more context to it, she's like, please do. So property management for us is really more bread and butter, right? We like plazas, and we like the ability to help other businesses access commercial property, right? Because in the commercial field is very difficult, unfortunately, for people of color to get a lease and to get the terms that they really need. And also sometimes to be told no. So for me right now, it's really kind of moving in that property management space and really talking to the owners, making sure they understand what their responsibilities are, making sure those tenants understand what those responsibilities are, and making sure that it's a good fit for everyone, because that's the only way people are going to make money. You know what I mean? Well, it's not the only way, but to me, it's the only right way. I want to see everybody win, and you can win as long as you understand as a tenant what your responsibilities are, and Mr. Owner, you understand what your responsibilities are. So for us, that vein is something that we're kind of drilling down a little bit.
Now, if you had a crystal ball, what parts of Georgia do you feel like property management, where or anywhere in general, like where do you look for these kinds of deals where you can have that bread and butter, that flow?
It's interesting. So as we are kind of moving through this silver tsunami, those deals are just kind of coming. I think that we've been blessed enough to just really kind of move on referral business, right? I don't do a lot of prospecting and so forth, like maybe some of the other brokers might do. So with that, we have people that, hey, this is coming up. This person has XYZ and they're looking to sell. And so those are the conversations that kind of come to us. And with that, we're able to say, okay, well, hey, Mr. Seller, what else do you have, first of all? Secondly, I've got my guy over here who's been looking for XYZ. So that's kind of how things have transpired for us. They've unfolded.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about legacy with you because your son is also in real estate, right?
Oh, yes, sons, two of them.
Sons.
Yes.
So when you think about, succession, because I don't think we have enough conversations about succession, what are you looking forward to? Like, how did you even entice? Was it just the lucky stick that your kids decided they wanted to be in real estate? What was that story like?
So for my children and legacy, first of all, it's just a blessing to have both of them join the company and to both be licensed. So my oldest is licensed in real estate and he's licensed in insurance in like maybe 5 or 6 states. The youngest is recently licensed and he's pursuing his degree at Georgia State for finance. Both understand the importance of not just having the family business, but the long-term goal of having a family office, right? So that way we're able to kind of give back again in a different capacity to other businesses and families who are looking to do that sort of thing. But yeah, our plan right now is for my oldest to, head to law school. That's what he's planning to do, and maintain the business. So that way, in a few years, they're like, you can go and sit down and we'll take this thing and we will take it to the next level, because we know that each generation they're bringing in as propelling the industry in so many different directions so quickly that you do need those younger people to come in and to be able to take it and run with it. So I've been blessed. They understand what the legacy is and what that means for my grandchildren. And they understand what it means for the community, which is very important to me as well. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I think, Kyra, that what you're doing with real estate, even locally, right? You have this plaza that we've talked about and wanting to do some things. I want to talk about what are some of the challenges that you've come up against, right? Because it's never a crystal stair. It's always some boards torn up, a couple of nails poking out. So what are some of the things that you came up against when you started really diving into this industry and taking on these development projects?
So, you know what you know, right? And unfortunately, sometimes we just can't know everything. So some of the inspections that we've had to kind of be faced with, it's like, oh, we have to do a backflow test. Okay, didn't know anything about that. Obviously septics, yes, about that sort of thing. Oh, we've got 2 of them. Oh, okay, great. Oh, they both need lids. We need to, so all of the little things that you it's very interesting, commercial in comparison to residential, in terms of just roofing and, all of the facility maintenance pieces that go along. So really just, I guess it's part of the process. You step into something and you just have to meet it head on, whether it be a contractor who didn't show up and now you have to replace them and find somebody, and the tenant is trying to, get things going, and you try to make sure tempers stay very calm. That's really been the biggest challenge, just really trying to maintain that balance between the lack of work ethic for some people, unfortunately, and I'm talking about contractors in particular, and just meeting the needs of the tenants, and also the needs of the owners, and wanting to make sure that you're delivering a product again to the community that they can be proud of. The amount of people that have come by and they're like, oh my God, it looks so great. Thank you so much. And we see people walking. That's what we want. We want to bring people back. And the fact that we brought baseball to cater in that way is major. We've got, professional baseball players up in there. It's a big deal.
So when you start talking about just some of the things that you want to help with when you think about community, I think that real estate just professionals have a lot to do with building community, right? Like when we think about sustainability and construction materials and making sure that environmentally that we have higher health quality, there's just so many ways that we in this real estate industry can move the needle. What are some of the ways that you're thinking about sustainability, Kyra?
So from a development standpoint, we're looking at certain building materials, utilizing hemp to build structures, to build homes and other structures with that particular medium. Why? Because obviously it's a zero carbon footprint. You're going to, have a product that's just long lasting. And we think about hemp in particular, people don't realize that, for instance, hempcrete, right? That is, a fire retardant. It is pest resistant. It's, again, zero carbon. It's got so many wonderful properties that, you wonder, why is it taking so long for it to be brought to the community, for it to be recognized in that way. So we're excited to kind of get that aspect started and begin developing, utilizing a hemp material. So the community, they have to be educated. So we're prepared to, kind of step up and run those classes alongside our financial literacy classes, and just telling people, hey, this is the new thing. And you need to understand why, 400 years of a product being sustainable versus, let's just say, 30 years at best in comparison to a concrete. I mean, it's a no-brainer. How many times do we see, okay, grandma transitions, she leaves the house to the grandkids or to the kids, and the house is falling apart, and it's not that grandma didn't maybe take care of it, but because everything has a lifespan. Roof has a lifespan. The materials that were built, the drywall, they used to use plaster back in the day. They used certain paints. So if we now can get to the point where we're using materials that are smart, that are sustainable, you have a product that is long lasting. I would think it's easier for the family.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that with these new innovative materials that are being introduced into our communities, it will create generational wealth in ways that people haven't thought of. And your example of grandma's house is an exceptional example of that. So I want you to tell people how to get in touch with you before we get out of here and wrap up this show. People want to learn more about Kyra Solomon, if people want to connect with you when it comes to property management, how do they get in touch?
Please, Kyra Solomon. We are the Daily Real Estate Group. You can find us at thedailygroup.us, and that is spelled DALEY, thedailygroup.us. Telephone numbers 800-718-3804. Either myself or Brill or Renaco will be happy to assist you in whatever capacity. Our goal and our mission as a company is to build generational wealth. That is what we've set out to do. And we do that by maintaining properties, by selling commercial assets and creating investor portfolios for our clients. So yeah, get at us.
Thank you so much for being a guest today, everybody. Thanks for tuning into another Mocha Money Monday, brought to you by the Phenomenal Hughes Global Network and the Welsons Financial Group. Tune in every Monday for these kinds of conversations that'll move the needle to help you become a bankable CEO. I'm Ashley Scott, your host, and until next time, see you guys later. Peace.
Thank you. Thank you.